Alrighty, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're going to give this another go. Hopefully, everything's going to work out peachy this time. So thanks for hanging with us, and we're going to get this thing going in about 30 seconds. Give you guys a second to get the emails saying that we're live, and yeah, we're just going to roll for it this time. We're going to go much more stripped down. I changed computers. We reset everything up, so I think hopefully we'll be good. All right, everybody's jumping back in. We'll roll it here.
Cool.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies. We've been having some technical difficulties with this episode, with the internets and all of those things. But, you know, you don't know when that stuff's...
I computed the aliens. They are capable of sinister and dangerous acts.
You don't know when that's going to happen, and so we're going to roll with it. Doug is here from CitizenRC, so we're going to pretend like the other one didn't start because people that are going to watch this later on. So we want people to get to know who he is. We'll get into the stuff that you guys want to talk about as well, with the Element RC, their new Trailrunner, which you have some kind of firsthand experience with their system, and
Yep.
You can show us your actual device, right? You've got it with you, your RC that's been modded.
Yeah, and tested quite a bit, the limits.
And tested. It jumped, right?
It
like
does.
to jump, you said.
Yeah, I just got one of those new T-Bone Racing mini ramps. It's technically made for like small 10 scales and then like 18 scale. And now I was jumping it this weekend repeatedly for about 3 batteries, and it was a lot of fun.
Is that the jump that you have the cars kind of parked up on in some of the photos? Or is that older? No, that's an older photo.
Yeah, that's an older one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen that you'd had like a car parked on some of that stuff, so I thought maybe that was it, but
No, this one, that ramp actually was just released, I want to say about 3 weeks ago. And so I got it maybe 2 weeks ago. I pre-ordered one, and it's super nice. It's like, what's the word? It's, you can it's super portable. It like folds up, and it's got adjustable legs on it. And, it's got like the perfect pitch that works really nicely with the crawlers.
So it'll send them.
It will send them. Yeah. And they have 3 different sizes. This is the smallest one because I was just going to use it in the backyard, but it's a good product. I like it.
All right. So we've got here some of the stuff that you've done. We see that you did post about the Element here.
I did.
And this right here, is this going to be that ramp you're talking about?
Yeah, with the silver TRX4.
Yeah. Dare we try? Dare we try? I say we try. Let's see what happens. It's a different computer, right?
Yeah.
So we should be good. We'll see. We won't have audio this time, but oh, you mixed it with the laptop crush.
I did. Is that your wife's laptop behind me? It is. It is, most certainly.
And that's the one that you like to jump off of.
It is. Yeah.
So why do you like to jump off of your wife's laptop?
Well,
that's
first
the question.
I would answer that question with a question, the real of why not. So I got this computer when I was in college years ago. That was like 12. No, shoot. I've had it for about 14 years. And I've owned like Apple products off and on, and it really kind of pissed me off that they stopped supporting that computer via software. Like they essentially made it obsolete via software, and I wasn't going to sell it. And it kind of bricked itself. The keyboard stopped working, and I tried fixing it this one day. That didn't work too well. And so I don't know like how it started, but it was just one day it just seemed like a good idea. Like, hey, I'll use the laptop as a ramp. And it seemed like a good idea at the time, and it's kind of been something that a lot of people seem to remember. I get random messages from people all the time that are begging for more laptop content, MacBook content. So it looks like we may have lost Tony.
No, I'm back here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm still here. We're still good.
Okay.
Everything is going golden. I just wanted to see all the cars behind you.
Yeah.
Because I was actually getting jealous of what's sitting above your head.
Which
the
one?
Orange
controller
transmitter that you have.
Yeah. Spectrum.
I waited so long for those to come out, and now I've got one of them in gray, and I don't have that one.
Yeah, and I was a little bummed, honestly. I bought this about 2 months ago.
Yeah, hold it up so we can see it.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's a DX5 rugged. This is like the special edition orange one that it comes with. It's just the transmitter only, and I don't know. Something about the orange, I liked it. It was bright colors, which I'm normally into, and but they just announced that they're making one in like a really nice forest green that looks really, really cool.
Yeah, but if you take it on the trail, all I think is you'll lose it. Like it'll camouflage in, right?
That's true.
That's why I said that safety orange, you are not going to lose that thing when you're out in the trail.
No, you are not. That is for sure. It works nice. Like I really like it. I know a lot of people like, I heard some different feedback about the scroll pad. But you just kind of got to get used to it, and you can kind of adjust the sensitivity, and then it works terrific.
Okay. So. Yeah, see, some of the guys in the chat, like 11 Charlie RC says he likes the green.
Yeah.
Someone says the new DX5 has the updated control panel even. I don't know what
it
that
does.
means.
Yeah, it's new software for it, and so it's supposed to work really, really good.
I actually like mine a lot. You know, I know that there's some that have like a weird, even right out of the box, they had some that had a bad batch of the little fingerprint thing, but mine works awesome. I actually like it better than the wheel. The wheel for me is glitchy on my DX4 Pro.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people are in here. Smackbook is what Pilot Ryan Media calls it. Welcome. Booster FPV is in the house as well. So we got a bunch of people back in here. That's awesome. Thanks for working with us in the technical difficulties, guys. So tell us a little bit. You told us before, but that's gone. That's history. And so let's talk about your history with RC a little bit. You've got quite a history, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I'm 34 now, and when I was 7, my dad bought a couple of Toys R Us RC cars. Back then, I don't know if anyone will remember, but they were called the Tyco Lamborghini. And then my dad and I bought 2 of those, a red and a black one. And he and I just had the time of our lives. Like basically every day after school, I'd come home, we'd immediately go outside, like once my homework was done, and just run batteries after batteries. And I was kind of incentivized. Like my parents are die hard in sales, and so I was kind of incentivized to get good grades, because if I got good grades, I would get new batteries for it. And back then, that was like the 9.6 volt NiCad packs that they would kind of go bad after a couple months if you were using them pretty regularly. And so if I got good grades, I could go to Radio Shack and get a new battery pack.
Yeah, that's awesome, because batteries then would go so quick.
Yeah, that was
not fast. Is this the ones you had right here?
Yep, the red and the black one.
We had these. Yeah. I do remember we had these as kids.
Yeah, and dude, they were quick too. They were. The original one had a dual motor setup in the for rear wheel drive, and then they updated it with a single motor, and that updated one was super durable and just a ton of fun. My dad actually still has like a real nice black and red one from our last setup. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was like my introduction into it when I was 7, and I was hooked. And it was probably maybe 3 years later, when I was around 10, that I actually got this guy right here, an RC10.
Oh, you got it still. Yeah, let me bring you up full screen.
I do. And I will never sell this buggy. This was my very first.
Look at the stickers, though. No fear.
No Fear and Spy, and that is because growing up, and still to this day, I'm a diehard Jeremy McGrath fan and Supercross.
Yeah, man.
And No Fear and Spy were his two main sponsors, so I just thought that it looked kind of cool at the time.
He announces with them now. Do you still watch it? Follow the racing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's the worst part about COVID-19 so far has been Supercross got canceled.
Yeah.
That was a bummer. But it's back.
Yep.
Back.
I love watching it. It's on my DVR. I have it usually like right up above where I'm sitting here. I can watch it while I'm editing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Krusty Demons, All Out RC. Yep. Totally agree. That was best movie ever. I still remember the soundtrack of it.
Okay, so speaking of movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good
couple things. Rad is coming back out now. You can get it, I guess, in 4K.
Really?
Now you can buy it.
Oh man.
So that's cool.
Best soundtrack of any movie, the opening scene.
Rad, yes.
Yeah.
But kind of, not kind of. I mean, it's going to be a cult classic probably.
Yeah.
With RCers. But I think that this new Flying Cars movie that we've been talking about, it came out today. I have watched it. It came out last night at midnight. And I was pleasantly surprised at how much I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I was expecting it to just be awful writing, and it's not bad. It definitely, like, you can tell it doesn't have the budget of a bigger movie. Have you seen any of this? Have you seen the trailer or anything for it?
I've seen the trailer. It kind of reminds me a little bit. Did you ever see the movie Supercrossed?
No.
Oh man, you should sit through it.
Supercrossed?
Yeah. Yeah. It was I want to say maybe like 10 years ago that it came out. It was a movie that they made about Supercross. Totally scripted and whatnot, but this movie, it kind of gives me like similar vibes, like they're creating a movie out of a really cool hobby. So I'm definitely going to see it.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's only available right now to buy it, or is rented in a month or so. They'll have it for rent. But I don't know, like for $10, it was totally worth the fun of watching it. Now I will say it's PG-13, but they sneak in quite a few F-bombs in there for a PG-13 movie. Like I was shocked at how many they got away with. And the swearing in it. I mean, other than that, I mean, it was pretty, clean, no real innuendos or anything crazy like that. But yeah, it's funny though. It made me rethink my life as an RCer and video producer of RC content, because they kind of nail us spot on in a lot of ways. From the, trying to hide purchases and kind of be shady about some of the stuff because you're not sure how people are going to take it.
Yeah.
Trying to leave a parking lot because you think you're going to get yelled at, but they're not there to yell at you. It's just, I say, watch it, guys. If you got the $10 to spend, they threw out something. They were saying it's not an RC movie, but it's totally like the whole thing revolves around RC from the beginning, starting with the camera, talking about the old car like you just mentioned with a GoPro shot because he's like editing footage. It's watchable, guys. And so I'm here to say that it's watchable, and I think that most of you will like it. We all laughed at it on Harley Designs and Scale Builders Guild when they did it. A little teaser for it because of that trailer. It makes you wonder, but I say watch it. So if you
Tony, you convinced me. I'll give it a shot. I'll watch it.
All right. So that was just a quick. It came out today. It's in the news for RC conspiracies, and you guys that are in the chat, Swampers RC says, "Have you heard a 13-year-old talk?" I know they've got to change the standards pretty much. So, yeah, they're going to have heard it, but it's still. Based on what we were used to, it was shocking. So leaving from there, so your history started with the Tyco Lamborghini.
Yep.
And you showed us the RC10.
Yeah.
And then
And
what was next? Did you take a break after that, or did you ride that for like 10 years, or did you
dude,
keep buying new stuff? Like it was an addiction early on.
I rode this forever.
Okay.
So I got this car maybe like right around when I was 10-ish. And then I also got a Nitro Rustler in that time period, which I knew nothing about Nitro. And the very first gas tank I was running it wide open on a baseball diamond. And that just it was one negative chain event after that. Because I didn't break in the motor properly or anything like that. So that was a little bit of a heartbreaker. But so I had that B3 up through high school, and I sold it to a friend of mine and bought it back about 2 years later. I took maybe like a 2-3 year hiatus from RCs in high school, just doing other stuff.
Girls?
And then, yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the
like,
one fiction part of this story is the girl hanging out at the RC track. That'd be a love interest.
yeah, I took my wife once to OCRC, and like she was the only gal in there the day that she and I went, and she was like, "Man, this is interesting." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, we were just dating at the time, but I was like, yeah, it's predominantly a male ran hobby."
Yeah,
but no, so I took that little hiatus, and then in college, the job that I had in college, I met my best friend at, and he asked me this one day at this event. He was like, "Hey, do you have any RC cars?" And I was like, "Well, not currently, but I love them." And so I went out the next day and I bought an RC10 T4 because I always really wanted the stadium truck version, but I never had the money for it after I bought the B3. And that T4 just kind of restarted my love of the hobby. And since then I've gone through a lot, like just buying and selling just about anything that has been released since when the Traxxas Slash was released, I've probably owned at some point.
Okay.
At least if it's 10 scale. I really like 10 scale. So
10 scale, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then just kind of was doing that myself. And then, like I told you earlier, but in December of 2015, I was just sitting around with my wife talking this one night, and I mentioned how much I really wanted to start an RC car Instagram, like just for fun, just because all I wanted to do was post pictures of my RCs, and the majority of my friends aren't into them. And so I just thought, well, rather than spam them on my private Instagram, I'll just create a public RC focused one. And I thought of the name that night just randomly of CitizenRC, which originally I thought was like CitizenRC, it's RC for the people kind of thing.
Yep.
And so I created that name on Insta. I posted maybe
so you were an early Insta guy.
I was
early on.
Yeah. So that was December 15. And at that time, like they had just started the video stuff. Or shortly after I signed on. And so that's when I immediately
So why did you start CitizenRC? Why didn't you just do your own Instagram? Like then you probably had an Instagram already.
Yeah, I had a personal Instagram, but I just didn't want to like spam my non-RC friends with the only thing I wanted to post pictures of, which was my RC cars at the time.
Right.
And
so I'm feeling the movie vibe going on here again. So like kind of like the hiding it from the friends.
Yeah.
Like they're all gonna laugh at me.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even so much that. I just I don't know. I just thought, well, the vast majority of my friends aren't going to be into this. So like, why am I going to post this? And at the end of the day too, like I really wanted to share my passion in this hobby with others, which is at the end of the day, like 4 years into this.
It was a good decision.
Yeah, it definitely worked out nice. And like, it's still weird to me because it far exceeds what I ever thought would happen with it. And I've been at random places at dinner wearing a CitizenRC hat or shirt and had people come up to me and like, "Hey, are you the guy that makes those videos on Instagram?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." And then we end up talking for half hour. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's funny how many people, if you actually though talk to them about RC cars, have some kind of memory, whether it's another person that they knew or their own. I just had somebody I was building the stuff in my backyard, and I had the skid steer in the driveway, and he's like, "Hey, you having fun with that new toy?" You know, just talking about the skid steer. And I'm like, "Yeah." And I told him what I was doing. You know, like I'm building a monster truck course in the backyard for my RC cars. You know, waiting for him to just kind of laugh at me. You know.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, I have a plane that I got. You know that." We used to fly with my dad, and you know, so many people. The second you mention something RC, they either just think it's awesome. Like the reaction is always different than I expect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the reactions I get now are different now that I'm a dad, and I'll be out walking with my son who's 3 years old, and somebody will be like, "Oh, is that his or yours?" And I'm like, "It's definitely mine. Like he's going to get one eventually." But I always just feel like sometimes like different guys that you'll meet, like husbands of my wife's friends or what have you over the years, that when you tell them that you're into RC cars, like they're like, "Oh, like I didn't realize that adults still do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, we most certainly do. And it's great.
And you should
Go buy one.
Loser.
It's a lot of fun."
So Overkill RC loves that the MacBook ramp gets its own spot on the shelf. So I got to admit that there was a couple things. The MacBook ramp was one of the things that made me be like, this guy's awesome. When you were just like bouncing off, I'm like, what? And then you were jumping the pool with the monster truck.
Yeah.
I think it was an SMT10.
It was.
You had a Red Cat too, right? Or no? Did you have the ground pounder?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it was the SMT10 though, that I remember. Yep. And Overkill RC, I got my shirt in the mail, man, a couple days ago, or a couple week ago, something like that. So just a shout out to him. He just jumped in. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. So guys, ask some questions if you want. Somebody was actually asking you earlier about what bike. I think he meant, was Jeremy McGrath running now? Or maybe he's asking what bike you're running now. Do you have a bike? You said that you were into Supercross and all that.
Yeah. So I sold my full-size bike maybe like 5 years ago, and I've for the last 16 years I've owned a pit bike, and so I have a like Kawasaki KLX 110 that's kind of modded up a little just to cruise around the neighborhood and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today I do want to talk about this. We'd be. I don't know where we'd be if we didn't mention it, because everybody's wanting to talk about it. But the Enduro Trailrunner RTR, tell me what you know about it. You have 2 Element RCs, I believe, and converted one of them to the IFS already.
Yeah.
So you have some insider. I'm on the fence about the whole IFS. I know that it's actually technically scale for certain trucks, right?
Yeah.
To have it. But I know that it's a sore spot with some people. For whatever reason, they just don't think it'll perform. So tell me what you think about the performance. I think the price is awesome. I think the look of it is awesome. I think they nailed it on quite a few elements with it. Not to be punny, but so tell me what your thoughts are on this thing.
So, I have 2 different elements right now. I have a solid axle one and then an IFS converted one, and both of them still run like one of the Reedy motors, whether it's I think it's like a 12 turn or 16 turn. I got a faster one because honestly, I need to jump the thing. And,
again,
but
back to jumping.
Yeah. But needless to say, like it's been a great platform. Like I love the solid axle one. And when the IFS thing came out, that's been something I've been wanting somebody to come out with for probably the last 5 years or so. I just saw it's a huge opportunity because no one else is doing it. Everyone's doing the solid axles. A lot of people are doing portals now. No one's done IFS. And I have a decent amount of time on mine. I will say that, a lot of the questions I get about it are, does it crawl better than a solid axle? And the answer is it's a different crawling experience is the way I look at it. It crawls really good for what it is. It still has I think it's like 5% overdrive right out of the box to the front axle. And
on the IFS?
On both of them, IFS and solid axle. Yeah, because
good on them for that.
Yeah, it's really cool. What they did, it's got this Stealth, I forget the name of it, Stealth X or something like that transmission. And essentially it has 2 separate gears one that drives the front axles and then one that powers the rear axles, rather than using the same set of gears with an output shaft that goes to the front and rear. And so you can change those gears inside on the front gears. You can change those out to get either no overdrive, 5% overdrive.
So you don't change
12.
it in the axle, you change it in the transmission.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
Which
cool.
It's a really cool design. It's really, really cool. And but that new one, the Trailrunner, it's got the IFS like right in the box, 155s. It's got all those different scale accessories like the bumper, roof rack, snorkel.
Stickers, multiple sticker packs too, right?
Yeah, tons of stickers, so you can cover the entire thing with stickers if you want to. The front bumper, like, it comes off, and then it's got a molded bumper that you can put on if you want to. Oh, and I think like one of the coolest things about it too is that they updated the plastic. So previously the RTRs had regular black plastic, and then the kit version had like a real dark gray hard plastic, as they called it on their site.
Yeah.
And the Trailrunner has that hard plastic compound, but just in black, which is really cool. That's a good, like, that alone is a really cool upgrade. And $389 out of the box. And speaking of the box, the inside of the box is actually a dealership, which is really cool.
This one is a dealership on this one?
Yeah. So instead
That's
of
really cool.
Yeah.
Instead of a garage.
Yeah. And I think like the thought they were going with that is it's like, you know, it comes out of the box with none of those accessories on it and no stickers. And so you're basically buying like a new dealership vehicle, and you can put it together how you see fit and outfit it to your uses after that.
So here's that transmission you're talking about. So it actually has 2 gears in 2 spots. So coming off of the pinion, it's rocking both of those down to, so they've got different gearing on both. That's a wild design. I had not ever looked at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've taken that apart quite a few times at this point because of I've played with like the different levels of overdrive and updated the transmissions to the metal gears. But man, it's a great platform. I dig it.
So at $389, I mean, that seems like a really fair price.
Yeah, I would agree
for it to be sitting at.
Yeah. And it's got LEDs, like it's got the standard, I don't know why I had this on my desk, this wasn't planned, but it's got like this exact same like dual LED light right out of the box, like a bunch of different things like that in it.
Now, do you find that yours hits at all on the front end? Is it grabbing on stuff, or are you not really rock crawling with it?
Oh, I'm certainly
more trail running with it. And there's a bunch of people. I see you guys, first of all, in the chat. I'm going to bring up some of the things that you guys are talking about in just a second.
Yeah. So I don't, you know, does it hit more stuff than the solid axle one? Yeah, I would say so. But it's never been something where it's ruined the experience for me as you're driving along and it keeps stopping or anything. It's never done anything like that. It's still got a pretty decent angle on it.
When I look at it, it looks like it hangs really low.
Yeah.
When you're looking right in here. I mean, that's not a whole lot of clearance below it.
No, but part of that too, keep in mind, is that it is those 1.55s, which I think is like a 3.8 inch diameter or something.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, you put even like a class 1 Proline tire on there, you're going to get a little extra ground clearance.
All right, so I'm going back to some of these questions here, some of the things that people have said.
Yeah.
And Trailer Trash RC says that you have the craziest SMT10.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So what have you done to your SMT10? I'm big into the monster truck stuff. That's like my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite quotes out of this new movie is dogging on us monster truck people, but it's an amazing quote that I'll let you guys all discover. Or on my Facebook or whatever. We won't say it here, but so what is it that you've done to yours to make yours the craziest SMT10, as Trailer Trash says?
Yeah, so mine is
we'll pull up some footage of it as you're talking.
Yeah, so mine's the first gen SMT10. that came with plastic transmission gears, which I immediately realized had to be replaced. So mine's got the metal transmission gears, Proline body, of course. Everything I run is always Proline. And I did a brushless system in it. I did a Castle 3800 kilovolt Sidewinder SV3, I think. ESC, which it's like $108 combo. It's an excellent combo for the money.
Who's it by?
Castle Creations.
Oh, it's a Castle Sidewinder 3? Yeah, it's a great system.
Oh, man. I've used and abused it. It fell in that pool a couple different times, got completely submerged. And then
what
the biggest...
the KV you said on it? It sounded like it was a lower KV.
Yeah, 3800, and then I just kick it up on 3S.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I think I run a 4600.
Yeah, that's a good...
I just did the 5700.
Yeah, as long as you get the 4-pole one, you're fine with it.
Yeah.
But and then I think the coolest thing about it to me is there's a guy on Facebook that his name on there is RH Designs. And
Ross Hinshaw.
Okay.
Wheelie bars are the coolest.
Yeah, those wheelie bars are sick, but he also makes this link kit for it that takes the stock wheelbase, which I think is around like 14.5, and brings it to 13.
Oh, I thought it was 13. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I know it takes 1.5 inches, I believe, off the wheelbase.
Okay.
And so I did that with it, and that's basically it. Like I've had a lot of people message me about like the steering servo and stuff, and truth be told, even after all these jumps, I'm still running the stock like tactic servo in it.
Really?
And yeah.
Shut up.
I'm dead serious. It's never died.
Dude, I took mine off. Everyone said they were junk, and I took them off before I even ran it.
Dude, I still got it. Like, you can see tactic.
Hold on. We're coming up full screen with this.
Tactic right there.
I gave mine away. So you're running his
sway bars.
As well.
Yeah.
That's an interesting front mount. That's cool.
I still, to this day, I'm still using the stock plastic steering links.
That'll save you. That's probably saving that servo right there.
Yeah. I'm a big...
That'll flex a lot.
Totally. I think on these axial, like AR60 axles, which are on the Bomber, Wraith, and SMT10, like I'm a huge believer in the stock plastic steering links. You lose a little bit of turning with it, like when it flexes. But
see, I wouldn't do it with the Bomber because you're supposed to run it on the rocks.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that steering, because it literally like hangs that one tire, you can't get it to turn where you want it to go. That's the only reason I wouldn't do it. In fact, I have a Bomber 2 sitting here. Yeah. And I just ordered Metal Hot Racing steering for it.
Yeah, but I don't know. My Bomber, I'm still running the plastic ones as well. And
okay.
I just have like a real chintzy, like, or Amazon servo on it. And it stayed alive. I don't know how, but
yeah,
it stayed alive.
If you don't mind spending money on it, the Servo Saver by Freestyle RC for the SMT10 is amazing.
Is that
so?
I haven't seen that one, but Proline made one for a while that was that would basically replace the top link that goes from the servo to the spindle.
Yeah. That's
and it
what
had
Freestyle
like
had been doing.
Okay.
So Freestyle had that, then Proline came out with it.
Oh, okay.
And my friends had it. They had issues a little bit with the Proline one. Huh. They liked it, but they said it wasn't quite up to what the Freestyle one was. But I just ordered another 2 Freestyle ones for the 2 that I'm building right now. Yeah. I swear by them, man. I know it's expensive. People, it's an expensive hobby. That's what I always tell people. But and there's a good question here. I'm getting to the question, so keep asking them. We'll get to them. This is first of all, before I leave this monster truck, this is the pool jump stuff that I loved. This sold me, which is a cool pool, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, we're no longer there, but I missed that pool.
I mean, that's a pretty sizable air that you're doing with an SMT10.
Yeah.
Onto cement.
Yeah.
So props for that.
Truth be told,
perfect landing too.
I jumped my Axial Score or Yeti Score trophy truck across the pool, but like truly like directly across it. I did it like halfway.
Oh, the full
across
width?
the pool. Yeah, full width on 3S with maybe like a 10-foot run up. I got that on film. It was a cloudy day, so the film wasn't the best. And the first time I tried it, it cased right on the edge of the pool, fell in, and like just completely bent the rear links. But
Oh.
oh well.
Oh man. All right, so here's a question. Who would, by Wooderson76, who would be your favorite person doing RC to watch?
On YouTube, I watch a lot of Scale Builders Guild. I really like his content.
He's so
Instagram,
amazing.
man, there's so many good ones. Like Fresh Squeeze, obviously, is great. Timp RC is one of my favorites.
Who's the second one?
Timp RC, TIMP.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's got some good content. His name's Jade. Who else, man? There's so many. Reno Scale RC, like you'll never see anyone kick the just drive a TRX4 harder than that guy. Like
Really?
he absolutely just destroys it. He's got that TRX4 Blazer,
Yeah.
and just annihilates the thing.
That's amazing.
And then Mike's RCH also has a ton of really good Element content on there. And it's like real close up, slow motion kind of stuff that, well, I'm a slow motion person. So
Yeah. And your nice tight shots. So we'll talk about some of the things that are cool about your footage here. I'm going to try and get through some more of these questions so we're not too far behind here. Oh, it just jumped on me. Wow, it really jumped on me. All right. Okay, here's something. Swampers RC says you should try doing some YouTube videos.
I fully agree.
Your latest one's a year ago.
Yeah. So I fully agree with you, Swampers RC. And the main reason I don't is because I've had 2 children in the past 3 years. And my free time between work, being a husband and a dad, and being in RC like I am, free time's limited. So maybe in like a year or 2, I might get more into YouTube, but it's not in the cards right now.
Yeah. It's like throwing another baby in the mix.
Yeah.
On top of all
I don't need that right now.
Yeah. And one of them just fell in the pool. So you got to figure out what to do. It's
yeah. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on portal axles? Are they worth the extra money?
I like them. I've had the TRX4s a few different times, bought and sold them a few different times. I really like the TRX4, especially with the 2-speed transmission. I thought it was super gimmicky when they first came out, and I think I have an Instagram post from when it came out, and I was like, yeah, I finally decided to pre-order one. I think it's kind of gimmicky, but for some reason, like for just hanging out in the backyard or whatever, it's a ton of fun. So I think portals are good on those. I don't think portals are the end-all, be-all. Like you have to have portals or anything like that, though.
I'm really impressed with them on the the TRX4 that I had.
Yeah.
I gave it away.
Nice.
Somebody had their car go into the ocean, and I saw the post on Facebook, and I was just like, mine's been sitting here for a year. I hadn't driven it, so I'm just like, dude, I'll give you mine. Where you? Because I saw where they were. They were at the ocean by me, like they were in the Outer Banks. Yeah. I'm like, how are you going home? Like, are you coming up through here? Because I'm not far off the path. I'll give you my address. You can come pick it up. So
that's nice of you.
But yeah, so that was my first portal axles and the 2-speed, and it was amazing. And then I got the Capra, which that thing's just so smooth.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
So here we go. This is Basher Boy. Now he got one of these after I did, but I got mine because of you and your videos and Fresh Squeezed. Both of you guys were running them.
Yeah.
Yours was the first, and I actually thought it was my Hobby Shop's video because they had gotten one, and he painted it similar colors to yours, different, little bit different design, but upon first glance, I thought it was it. And I'm trying to pull up like a rad video of it here.
Yeah.
So let me do that really quick. And this may or may not be a rad one. I don't know. Most of them are. They're slow motion, and this car just looks amazing. You got to tell us your thoughts on this thing. I'm going to be pulling some of these videos up and just playing because you just watching your videos, no sound, anything, is what made me say I gotta have one. Like just watching this car drive, I need to
Thanks.
have one.
I appreciate it. I feel like this vehicle was like built for slow motion. On that one, that day was about 110 degrees or 105 or something. And I hit that so hard that it actually popped the ball cup off on the
Is that
driver's
why
side.
the wheel's flopping? I thought you were like freestyling, like trying to
No,
do a whip.
no, completely unintentional. That was just way too much force right on that driver's side one, and it just popped the ball cup right off just because it was so hot. Like ever since then,
Yeah,
I've never had
soft.
that issue since then. It was just that one day. It was just so dang hot. But so it's a really fun truck, I think. I get a lot of questions about it, like people comparing it to the Losi Baja Ray, and in my opinion,
Not the same truck.
no, and it's way different driving experiences. I think of the Kyosho much more as like a scale driving experience. It's not something I'd put, a massive brushless system on 3S and jump across the pool. That's not the vehicle for it. But you can try it.
Well, I put a I asked you after I bought my motor for it.
Oh,
what
did you?
Running it
Yeah.
on Instagram, and you said, I think you said you were running a Castle 16 or 12 turn. No,
yeah,
not Castle, Traxxas 12 turn.
Traxxas Titan 12 turn out of a slash. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I said Castle. I bought a Castle Sidewinder 4
Wow.
4600 for it.
Man.
So it's like zero traction.
Yeah.
I basically had to turn everything down on my controller.
Yeah.
To handle it. But,
well, if it makes you feel any better, mine has no brakes because I have that the Traxxas XL5 ESC in it, like the one that comes out of a slash, and the brakes on that are just practically useless, like they're just non-existent. And so,
and it's rear-wheel drive only too, so they're not really hooking up.
Yeah, and plus it's got a real open diff too. So if you're turning and you get on the brakes, all it does is just lock up that inside tire that's barely touching the ground anyways. So
I'm trying to find some more. I know there's just tons of cool close-up shots. Now, where did you run this? I know you've moved since.
Yeah.
Where are you still able to go to the same places? I know a lot of the places you're going now have some really cool hills, and look at that. That is money right there. That is like Ivan Stewart, super off-road.
Thanks.
Look at that drop.
I just dig the suspension of these things. Like I just feel like that vehicle is just built for slow motion video. It just comes out great. And I really wanted one when they originally released it, and it was just the Outlaw Rampage. But it didn't have the spare tire or the bed framework in there. And so the videos I saw of it, the rear end wasn't planted at all, because with these solid axle trucks, in my opinion, you really need to have that weight that's behind the rear axle to really like get them to perform better. And the first gen didn't have that. And so I was certainly interested, but I never bought the first gen. And when they came out with the Pro, where you could paint your own body and add your own electronics, I was stoked.
Yeah, that's what I waited for.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the first one. That's what our Hobbytown had.
Yeah.
I think maybe not. Maybe they did get the Pro.
If you're in the market for the first one, I've seen it all over right now for $150, ready to run.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a cool body you have on this. This is the Red
Thanks.
Cat.
Yeah, that was kind of a paying homage to Robbie Gordon's trophy truck, the Speed Energy one from back in the day. Or not back in the day, just a couple years ago.
I'm looking. So you don't have the freestyle braces on your axles, and you're all right.
Oh,
so what do you guys think about these Kyoshos seeing this? Does make you want to buy one? I mean, just look at that suspension drop in the rear. It's the coolest looking driver ever.
Yeah, I fully agree. Plus the suspension's soft on it, which I like. I'm not
out of the box.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of real stiff suspension with RC cars. And I just think that one, it just performs so well, and the body just barely even moves. It's going through stuff.
Yeah, you see it soak this up? Watch this landing. Just takes it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would not put a Sidewinder in that. If you get this, guys, I'm actually going to pull mine out and put in an XL5 and a 12 turn. I have some sitting around here. I have the XL5s at least. I'll find a 12 turn to put in it.
And the
That's
12
plenty of
turns
speed.
quick. It's quick. On 2S, it's nice.
Yeah. So you had, what's this one here?
That's the Venture HP or
Is
HPI
it the Venture?
Venture.
I thought, okay, I wasn't sure if it was a body you'd bought and put on it. So you had that too?
Yeah, and truth be told, I won that at Proline by the Fire 2018. I bought like $10 in raffle tickets, and that was the very last item called. I hadn't won anything up until that point, and I really, really, really wanted that. Like that was the one item I wanted, and they called my number on the very last item, which was for that venture, and I won it. So that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. This one looks like it's getting sent.
Yeah.
Oh, it is getting sent. Holy cow.
That was a fun day.
Oh, you have a nice soft landing for it too.
Yeah. I did that at least 10, 15 times that day.
Did you break anything?
No. The only thing I've ever broken on that truck, 100% truthfully, is the stock plastic transmission gears quit like the very first time I drove it with brushless. So I upgraded those to metal. And then I bent a set of the RH design links when I jumped it off the roof of my house, and it just nose picked into the ground. So, but that was my fault.
That would do it, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You can see my foot with the sandal there, just hanging
Trying
out
to save it.
Yeah.
It's waterproof though.
Yeah.
Except for the bearings.
Yeah. I never did anything to the bearings after that, but they still work fine. So
Not seized up yet.
Not yet. The way I look at it, if they seize up, they just become bushings at that point. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
My original Stampede 2-wheel drive Gravedigger, I have not changed any of them since I got it. Doing all the mudding, all of that stuff. I've changed the motor systems in it a few times, but I haven't. I mean, even like I've bought replacement plastics, but still, at this point, I still just glue the screw and just drill it back in there on that thing, and it just keeps going. So unless it's like completely snapped off, I've just kind of limped it along. Like it'll hit and it'll pop off one of the shocks. I'm like, oh, I broke it. And I'm like, oh no, just pulled the screw out. Drill it right back in there and keep going.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hex heads on it, or Phillips heads on it.
Yep. Yeah, all the XL5 stuff has Phillips head on it. But I remember when the Slash first came out, and we would always take him to this one outdoor track. And by the end of the day, the thing would be covered in mud because they were always watering the track there. And my buddies and we would just put him up against the fence and hose him off. And I never did anything to that other than just hose it off. And I drove that for years.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're trying to race people and really need that extra speed.
Yeah.
As long as it's not seizing up, or like my original SCX10, I've driven that through so much water.
Yeah.
Wash it off, like you said, hose it down. It squeaks. Like when you're driving slow, it's like, but I mean, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
But here's a bomber. I was going to try and pull up one of the independent suspension. What body is that running?
So I have a red 4Runner, and it's like probably toward the top of content.
Okay.
And then
I don't know how far down I am.
I just started building out an actual Sendero like this.
So you already are doing like a 4Runner.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one.
So let me see that. I'll put you up here full screen here. That was me. There you are.
Yeah.
So you did it to your Sendero body.
I did. And This one, I actually put a Castle brushless system in this, like brushless crawling system.
The slate.
The slate with the Micro Mamba X. It's a kit that just came out, and I think it's $149 is what I paid for it.
Oh wow, that's cheaper than
Dude,
the other slate.
It's great. Yeah, because it's the micro one. So it's only made for like vehicles that are up to like 7 or 8 pounds, I think. But man, it's a 2850 kilovolt motor, and on 3S, this thing's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
I just bought a slate system, and I don't remember what I bought it for. I think it's to go in my rock bouncer, so that I can try and finish it.
They're good. This one I'm gonna just make it 2-wheel drive. I actually just started the process. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of stuff to it, kind of make it a little pre-runner.
Ah, cool. So you basically just have to take off one of those sets of gears then, right? Off of the
actually it's even easier than that. You just remove the front drive
shaft.
Yeah,
pull the shaft out. Yep.
Flash Hobbies. I see you. The famous MacBook in the back. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, they know. I'm trying to find it here. Is this it? Yeah, this looks like the IFS one, huh?
All I see is myself right now.
Oh. Well, it's good for you guys. Don't get to see it, but I'm getting to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, so that one, that's just a IFS Enduro. That one started as a trail walker, which the trail walker and Sendero are essentially the same vehicle other than the tires, wheels, and body, and bumpers. But yeah, that one's got the IFS kit, metal trans gears, the hard compound shock towers, and then I did an interior for that one out of a bomber, like just the stock bomber interior.
Do you have video of that? I see the picture here.
Yeah, it's primarily pictures. If you scroll down a little bit more, I think I have like an album of that one where it's like 7 or 8 pictures.
Oh, we can scroll through it right here.
Yeah, I think that's it right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that turned out cool.
Thanks. Yeah.
You know, the back posts almost look like seatbelts. You know, the hanging ones from through the window.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one
looks really cool.
This was actually my second try at making my own bumpers and sliders too. I went out and bought like a Harbor Freight welder for $100 and gave it a shot. They didn't come out perfect, but
they work.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
Hasn't broken off yet, so that's a plus.
And so you just get a little piece of angle iron here too, or steel angle bracket?
Yeah, that one's like 3/16 rod just from Home Depot.
Okay. And then you put it to this metal brace here. Is that already? Did you buy it already in like the angle shape, or did you bend it?
That was just something I bent up and made. I mocked it up with cardboard and then transferred it over.
Okay. Cool. Rally.
Yeah. So that's actually a Traxxas Fortec 2.0.
Oh, is it? Yeah, they handle all right, don't they, off road?
Oh, it's terrific. It's a great car. Like the only thing I did to it is I still got that one, but
here, I'll put you up here.
Right on. Yeah, so Traxxas Fortec. I used axial rod ends on the bottom of the shock to give it a little bit more ride height front and rear.
So taller, yeah.
Yeah, and then modified the chassis by cutting out some spots where the A-arms can now droop down lower. And for what it is, extremely fun. It's great. And
where's the body from? Is that a Tamiya?
Tamiya, yeah. And I had to use like the zero offset Tamiya wheels in order to fit within it. Because the Fortec 2.0, especially with the wheels that it comes with, is like way wider than the 190 millimeter body that is kind of like the gold standard for Tamiya. And but no, all things considered, it's a lot of fun. And that car, that platform, is really quick, like right out of the box. Even with the Titan 12 turn, it's really fast.
So you bought the ready to run one to start with, or did you get the kit?
They offer two separate like kit, or not kit, but
Like a roller?
yeah, it's like a roller without a body kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it even comes with a remote and all that. And so I just bought the brush version. They make a brushless one that I think is like $370, which I wasn't going to do.
Right.
But the brushed one is like 209. And so
Okay.
immediately I needed that.
I love how you love to send your trucks, even the crawlers.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what's
go ahead.
this one for people that are asking? It's
Yeah. So that is
based off of.
that is based off an axial Yeti rock racer, just like the standard Yeti 10 scale.
Yep.
And
I saw the solid rear.
yep, it's got solid rear, and then I shortened the wheelbase. So here it is. I named it Eddie the Yeti because of the Eddie Bauer paint scheme that I did on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of these old square body Fords. I love them, but I shortened the
You
wheelbase.
love the Bronco I parked next to today.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
it's awesome.
they're such great looking trucks. But the only thing I like, the main mod to it was I shortened the wheelbase down.
Just by doing the rear, the trailing arms?
Just the rear. It's actually a real easy bolt on, but these are Vetera twin hammers trailing arms, just the stock plastic ones. They bolt right on. And if you do that, it makes the wheelbase of a Yeti rock racer or Yeti score trophy truck the perfect wheelbase to drop a short course truck body on it.
So what did you have to do to the upper links? Make your own?
No, I used Traxxas Revo push rods, and it's practically a direct fit. Like the lack of like tweaking necessary is kind of mind boggling. It's almost like it was designed for it. But with those Revo upper links and then that twin hammer lower trailing arm, it bolts right up, and you just have to shorten the stock drive shaft a little bit.
So you do a lot of custom stuff for people that might be thinking they want to do something like this.
Yeah.
How did you decide that combination? Did you just have those arms laying around and start messing with it? Did you measure and find out what upper links would be this length? Or
yeah, so it was actually in an old RC Car Action magazine, I think. They did an article where they took a Yeti Score, I believe, and did that Vetera twin hammer trailing arm setup and put a short course truck body on it. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, that's really cool. Plus, like the stock Yeti, I never really loved the way that it handled. It just, they handle kind of weird. It really needs that weight behind the rear tires. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to convert mine over, but I didn't want to do another truck, and I wanted to do an SUV. So that's what led me to Proline's Bronco body.
Well, I dig it. I had a Yeti. I wanted a crawler, and I bought a Yeti because I thought it could do both things based on. And I was man, I'm still green, but I was really green.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like my third RC I think I'd bought. So I had the Stampede, and then I got the Losi SCTE.
Yeah.
And then I got the Yeti.
Yeah.
And it didn't do what I wanted it to do, and I started jumping it and trying to flip it and breaking that rear axle all the time. Yeah, because I put on like metal links, which was I think the big problem is there's no flex, and so whenever you hit, it just snaps right off where they met.
Yep.
So, and I didn't have beef tubes, didn't know about them. Now I put beef tubes in everything, or some kind of axle brace. So what's this truck here? It looks like it's an Element.
Yeah, that is an Element Enduro.
Okay, just a new body.
Yeah, so it's a Proline 1970 something Bronco, I believe. And
so this is the one they just had on sale for two of them for $500, right?
Yeah. The 2 for $500 for the Enduro Trail Walker.
Okay. Was this a Trail Walker or no? This was the normal Enduro.
This one was originally a trail walker.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of like full size pre-runners and trophy trucks and stuff. And I've always really liked the look of big tires in the wheel well. And so I really liked the 1.55s that came with it, but I needed this
Wasn't
stuff
working for you.
Yeah.
So here's the other Enduro. I was trying to find so people that might not know would see the Trail Walker. Just trying to quickly see it here. Where it was stock. Right here, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much stock there.
Well, stock body.
Yeah.
So what do you do with the bodies when you take them off and you switch them up? Do you keep them?
Sometimes.
Do you sell them?
Sometimes I just keep them, give them to friends. And a lot of them, by the time I'm done with it, the body's pretty much scorched. So no one would really want it.
You run yours a little tougher and harder than a lot of people.
Yeah, like
this looks like it's going to tumble for a little bit.
It did. It did. Yeah, at the end of the day, like this whole hobby is just all about fun for me and like bringing new people into the hobby. And so, you know, drive him a little hard. Yeah, like my thought has always been use it, don't abuse it. And so I just try to use it and always try to land on all four tires.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't like overdo the crashing. Like a lot of it, like you'll get squirrely. Here, pull this one up to you. You know, but you almost seem to always catch a wheel or something to pull it back.
Yeah.
So you're like riding on that right here, ragged edge.
Yeah. And truthfully, most of these are actually shot with me driving them one-handed because I'm filming with the other hand. So like I probably have, for every video I post, I probably have 3 or 4 on a hard drive somewhere that I just didn't think looked as cool, and they just never get posted.
Yeah. All right, so I do want to talk about that a little bit. Maybe tips that you might give to people. So maybe that's probably a good segue to that.
Yeah.
And then I do want to know like certain things like your favorite RC, like ones you'd never sell, favorite one to bash, some of that. Like, well, let's start there, and then let's go to kind of when you take them out, what you're thinking and doing when you do a video.
You got it.
Trailer Trash RC says, I need to take on that use it, don't abuse it mantra. Dude, you abuse those trucks, man. I love it when the doors are flapping on there. Robert Glazier, thank you, man. Lots of people in here talking. Speaking of Twin Hammer, they haven't used theirs in a while. Guys, if you have any questions, if you've seen any of his cars, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. We'll let him go here in just a minute. It is getting late. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, dude, you're good.
So let's say favorite RC.
Like favorite RC that I own.
Let's do the favorite one you own and you like the one that you would want. Like if there's one that you really think would be the coolest, but you don't have.
So a favorite one I own is I think that Yeti, the green Bronco Yeti that I was showing a few minutes ago. There's something about that to me is really cool. I just like I like the design of it. I like the green for some reason, and I really, really like it in slow motion. So I would never sell that one. I mean, everything's for sale for the right price. Let's be honest, but it's one that I think I would never sell.
All right, bidding will start at $500, guys.
Oh, it's got to go up from there in order for me to part with it. I have a lot of
just
hours.
A starting bid.
Yeah. I have a lot of hours in trying to get that body mounted on there. That was not easy.
Yeah. So that's the one you have. Is there one that you don't have or you'd like to build? That would be your dream?
Well, yeah, up until about a month ago, it was the Traxxas UDR was one that I really, really wanted. And really it was just like the expense behind it. Which
you have now.
Yeah, I did buy it. I sold a few, and honestly, it was kind of a letdown. I don't know if I built it up a little too much in my head. Like, oh man, it's the UDR. It's like the most scale fast truck you can buy, but it was a little bit of letdown for me.
It is scale. It definitely, they killed it on the scale look.
Yeah.
And you killed it on the videos that you made with it too. I mean,
Thanks.
the slow motion and the dirt flying, like,
Yeah.
this stuff's money.
Thanks.
Just watching it perform.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great driving truck and stuff. I'm personally not a big fan of having to run 2 batteries at once. And this one, I mean, it's pretty thirsty. Like, it runs through a pack pretty quick. I love the
It
UDR
looks so
as well,
smooth
man.
though, right?
Say what?
It looks so smooth though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And where you run it, I bet it hooks really good. So I know on like grass and other places it can roll, but
Yeah.
you break free, I'm sure, on this type of terrain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and by all means, like, don't get it twisted. I really do like the truck. I think I just built it up a little too much in my head, like ever since it was released. Oh yeah. That's my Sendero going off that T-Bone racing ramp.
I saw the ramp. I had to look at it. That's the T-Bone ramp, you guys. And he's sending his crawler off it.
Yep. They make 3 different sizes of it. This is the smallest one. It's like perfect for backyard type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's adjustable.
That's debatable. Most of my stuff I wouldn't be able to hit that with.
Yeah, that's true.
I really wanted their X-Max one, the big one.
Yeah.
But even for hitting with my 10th scale, like making it easier to line up. But
yeah.
I guess you're used to going off of a MacBook. So
yeah,
I loved those plastic white MacBooks. Those were my favorite ones.
They were my favorite as well. And they're way better than the newer ones, I think.
They have one port, one USB-C on them.
That pissed me off so bad. I didn't buy one of these forever because of that until mine finally quit. The white one quit.
Man.
So
yeah, I had the metal one. Mine got stolen out of my house.
Oh,
somebody broke in, stole it, and a 17-inch MacBook Pro. But it was a bad day, and our TV.
Dang.
But so that was that question. Your favorite RC to bash?
I really, really like the Losi Tenacity DB.
DB. Okay.
Yeah, it's their desert buggy one, and
that's right behind you.
Yeah,
on the lower shelf. So you didn't buy the Pro, but you upgraded yours.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was upgraded to the Pro chassis, which has aluminum skid plate, aluminum front and rear tower. And it does the best thing of all, I think, about it is that it converts the Tenacity DB into a top load battery, so you don't have to go in through that bottom port. Yeah.
So Net Cruiser RC says the Citizen RCIG video clips are great.
Thank you.
You, in many ways, are a man after my own heart with some of these things that you're saying. We've never talked before, guys, except for last night. We kind of just made sure everything worked.
Yeah.
And it did. However, it didn't work about an hour ago when we tried.
Yep.
2 hours ago now. But so everyone, I get so many comments on mine that's like, make it go faster, put 8S in it, put 4S in it, put this motor in it. Everything's about go faster. Get this car. And for me, the speed isn't the number one. Usually for jumping, you don't have to have a lot of speed.
Yeah.
To jump. Like you're going over things, like especially that BMX ramp that you hit or the dirt jump with the SMT 10.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of speed when you're hitting something like that. You don't even usually hit it full speed because it'll send it so far.
Yeah.
So that's not a qualifier for me for buying it. I don't need it to go 50. Like 30 is probably all right,
Yeah.
25 for most applications. But the bottom feeding, oh man.
Not a fan.
I just want Velcro. Like give me a Velcro strap down.
Yeah.
And I'm a happy guy. So that's one thing that I do when I unbox cars. I'm like, man, it has some kind of stupid compartment. The X-Max was one that I didn't mind, but it's still kind of a fold down. The Max, however, I didn't love that one, but the X-Max one was okay.
Yeah.
But I listed that DB. I have the Tenacity DB Pro, the Fox body one that just came out
Yeah.
with the Spectrum electronics.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a ready to run upgraded one like you have.
Yep. With the
And I said it was my favorite RC last year.
yeah.
Like I have all the bigger ones, whatever, but it's like it bashes so good.
It's amazing. And the darn thing is it's practically indestructible. Like I heard you mention it earlier, but that you used to have the Losi 10 SCTE, and that first generation of that truck was darn near indestructible. And this Tenacity DB, especially with the Performance chassis and that chassis upgrade, I've yet to break apart on this, and I've not been easy on it. Like I have some clips from, I want to say right around like 2018, the end of 2018, where I jumped it like 75 feet. I actually hit a Supercross triple with it at a Supercross test track in Southern California, and I did that maybe 6 or 7 times that day, and I've yet to break apart on it. I had a diff gear kind of go bad. Like a barking
little
diff.
Clicking.
Yeah.
On brakes.
But that was it. Other than that, and I'm not easy on it.
So mine, I didn't do squat to the whole first year. Didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I just ready to run. I bought it. And I just kept driving it every day. I built a little backyard track. Every day I'd run it. And I didn't know to change diff oil, shock oil. I just ran it nonstop. And it just took it. And I finally took it in because it was clicking, eventually. But that's because I let other people drive it.
Yeah.
And they land on throttle and they do all this crazy stuff, right? And that's when I started clicking, as I had some work people over for like a work party at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And everyone wanted to drive them. But I'm just watching them as they're just like in the air, just gun it.
Yeah.
And it lands on throttle and you're like, oh, you hear it click.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's indestructible. So I let other people race it, and they were racing the guys with the Technos, all this souped ups. Mine had so much slop in it, in the wheels and everything, because nothing had been done to it. And the guy was beating everybody with it.
Yeah.
It was just a fast truck. In fact, my buddy Jeremy has it now. I upgraded it to like a Tekin system.
Yeah.
And he helped me out with so much stuff. I was just like, here, man, I got too many. I got like 5 short course trucks. I don't ever run this one. I don't have time to fix it. Here's some stuff. And I'm looking for your DB to show some footage of it. It's further down, it looks like.
Yeah, and most of the clips, it has a purple body, like purple and orange body.
Oh, okay. So I'm not looking for the right one. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I eventually
Losi.
built that body.
Here it is. We'll throw one up here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you sent it there.
Yeah, and that one went to flat. I felt kind of bad.
Flat landing.
Yeah.
That's the line from the movie, man. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait till you see that after that.
And that was 2S too. I remember that day because I brought a 3S with me, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I need 3S in order to do this. And that was like one of the first jumps I did with it that day, and it just went way too far.
Oh,
on 2S.
See, that I would have thought maybe could have cracked some of the chassis parts, not the chassis, but the cage. I somehow broke my DBXLE cage, the big one at the back where it mounts. From the impact. I think it broke one of those plastics, but I just taped it up and kept going.
That's
epic.
That's a good point. That actually reminded me. I have broken apart on it. And somebody commented about it a little earlier, but the driver's decapitated on mine.
Oh yeah, they definitely decapitate.
Yeah, just the weight of that helmet just rips them right out.
Well, this I just have to watch. Oh, I totally remember this one.
Yeah.
This was the one. This is the one when I started following you.
Yeah?
I think so.
Oh, man. That was fun.
This was like stand out in my mind as this dude's awesome. Intentionally launching it into a kiddie pool.
Yeah, we bought that pool for my son, and he never really liked it. So I was like, well, I'm going to do something with it.
Here's another one. See, I don't recognize some of these ones down here, but it was with the Outlaw and with the stuff with the SMT10.
Yeah. So
So that's going to be a nice jump. Is this a triple?
Yeah, that one I just did the double. But there's footage in there of me hitting the triple. That's the Kawasaki test track in Elsinore.
All right, so here we go. Question popping up here. I'm gonna watch that land one more time. Epic. He wants to know what you use to film your Instagram videos, which is going to be a good segue into what I wanted to talk about before, with kind of looking at your thumbnails and some of the tips that you might have.
Right on. So what do I film with? It's a combination of iPhone and a Gen 5 GoPro. Just kind of depends on the shot and the day.
Your GoPro
5. Yeah.
Okay. And you said your phone as well?
Yeah, I had iPhone 6 that I eventually replaced with an iPhone 8, and
okay,
just depending on the shot and the day, I'll swap it up.
Yeah, I mean, it all looks good. So, you know, being the work that I do, when I look through your feed here, there's a lot of things that stand out that's awesome about yours, and I wish I could do for mine, because I know that this is what I should be doing. And mine is just like whatever I can do to get something done.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of great color, from warm to blue, like, you know, really warm colors to cold colors, which is like a great contrast in color. So you get blue skies, which I don't ever get here. We get blue skies, but you can't see them through the trees.
Yeah.
There's trees everywhere where we live. So that makes one for epic thumbnails that you're getting.
Thanks.
You get low and you get close.
Yeah.
And it's always sunny.
Thanks.
Like, you look at yours and it's always bright. It makes the colors pop. But I mean, the skies, like this stuff right here, this one on the right here.
Yeah.
The truck wheeling, there's so much detail there because of the truck sitting off of this color and being in the sun, and just, it pops off there like nobody's business. Plus, it's doing that kind of crazy sideways one wheel wheelie.
Yeah.
One wheel on the ground kind of. But so what are you thinking when you go out to do this? Do you shoot a bunch of them in one day? Do you look for one good day? So now the hard part for me is YouTube. I use all of the stuff to make one video, and it gets all shared at one time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll try and sneak, put little teasers up to Instagram and all that. But, YouTube's my main platform, I would say.
Yeah.
So what are some of the thoughts going behind doing this, and maybe how you would plan to make sure you have enough content to feed the beast of Instagram? Because Instagram is a beast.
Yeah, it is. It was definitely easier like when I first started with it, because at that time, like, there wasn't a lot of people doing this kind of stuff, especially not with like slow motion and all that, and mixing in random stuff like with the iPad or MacBook and a couple other, like, kiddie pool and stuff like that. Like, there weren't a lot of people doing that. But when I go out, like, I'm always just kind of looking around at different spots. Like, even when I'm driving around, like, I'm always just looking for different spots. And I'm kind of like a night owl. And so once in a while, like, I'll just get a random idea. Like, I got a couple in the works right now that I think will be pretty cool. I think people will like them. But I'll just kind of just get random ideas. And there's, like, I wish I could say that I had like a master plan for the way this whole thing's gone, but I don't. Like, I created this, the name, and started doing the content because it was just stuff that I thought would look cool. Like, I'll never post anything that I don't think personally would be something that I would be interested in watching. Like, that's like the main rule that I have, is I don't post anything that I'm not into. Like, it has to be quality over quantity for me. And so, I think I said a little earlier, like, I probably have 3 times the footage of what is on Instagram because, you know, you get random bad shots or the lighting's bad or what have you. But no, like,
So you go out one day.
Yeah.
How long are you able to drag that footage out for after you go? Because you're doing they're slow-mo too. So you're taking 5 seconds of time and stretching it to 10, 15. If it's quarter speed, it'd be 20 seconds, depending on what rate you're doing.
Yeah.
So you're able to stretch some of those just moments out and use it, you know, maybe save some of them, do them later. But when you go out, like, how often do you have to go out and some of that kind of thing, just so people can get an idea of the scope of?
No, I typically will go out on average probably once a week and do some like new content once a week. Unless I know something's coming up, like for when my 2 children were born and I knew like, hey, we're going to be out of commission for a month. I went out and got a whole bunch of footage to carry me through those time periods. But typically I'll just go out one day on the weekend and go somewhere that I've been eyeballing and just give it a shot. And then once in a while, like this was an accident. Like I went to this one spot to get some off-road footage and they had a steel pipe out there. And I was like, I wonder if this can actually drive up and over. And I gave it a shot once without the camera rolling and it did it. And I was like, hey, this might actually look kind of cool. And so I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the way that shot turned out.
Yeah, that's really cool. I see you found another tunnel for the camo.
Yeah.
So you go out and then you get multiple shots that you're able to use throughout the week.
Yeah.
How long do you go when you go out? How long do you stay out for?
I mean, if it's typically an hour, sometimes more. Yeah, I normally like to set up a shot and make sure like the lighting's right and whatnot. I'm by no means a video expert by any means, but I do understand like lighting and stuff like that. So I'll try to do what I can just to make the best shot I can. This was not my idea. This was a friend of mine. He had a bunch of extra roof tiles and he's like, let's make a whoop section.
Oh, look at that bicycle. That was cool. Yeah, just really cool ideas, man. And
Thanks.
You pull it off so well. I remember this video when this came out.
I was stoked with how that one turned out too.
Yep.
Because I kind of got to like follow it down to the ground, which was kind of fun. And this is barely moved. Yeah.
That's epic. Any tips that you'd give to people that, are trying to make some videos and, I mean, you've got a pretty sizable following here, 48,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I remember this. It's addicting and extremely entertaining. And I remember the first shots with the computer and being like, okay, this is different. And then I got totally addicted.
I appreciate it. I love the feedback. The positive feedback's great. I get messages all the time with like people saying positive stuff, and it's very much appreciative because, I mean, and you probably know better than I do doing YouTube, which takes even more time, but it's time consuming doing this. And but I really love doing it, and I love connecting with other hobbyists, and especially like trying to get new people in. That's always kind of been my mindset with the videos, is trying to highlight the trucks doing fun stuff that will get attention of kind of like a passerby, like especially like that's just, sitting there at work scrolling through Instagram, or sitting there on the couch at night scrolling through Instagram. Like, I'm more interested in getting new people into the hobby. Like, that to me is what this hobby needs more than anything right now.
Yep.
And so I've just tried to just show, in my own weird way, just having fun with your RC car,
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I said when I got into it, was like, really my goal was to make more people. I had so much fun, and it was such a release of stress and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I wish more people knew how much fun this was to get into.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started posting some of the videos, and that's always been my goal, so I almost always try to have a positive spin on things, even if I don't like something. There's something I do like. And I
Yeah.
can mention the things I don't, but
Yeah.
I never try to take it too negative where it's just cutting, because it doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
So, and you end up putting out a company out of business that may be working to try and know that they need to go to the next level and just have to get to a certain point in order to do it. I mean, Red Cat's coming out with way cooler stuff now.
Oh yeah.
Even, you know, they've been through some tough stuff where people could have really, you know, took them to the cleaners over, but yeah, it's cool to see where they've come.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget too that like this is a pretty small hobby, like industry wise, and a lot of these companies, they're not huge companies. Like
Right.
Traxxas is one thing altogether, but some of these brands, you know, it may be 10, sometimes even less people working there, and so when you go on social media or you know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you know, bash that company, it's not like you're bashing Sony that,
Right.
you know, somebody
It's in
does
a bunch of markets and yeah.
like it's impacting real people in this hobby. And so I love the personal spin that you do. And that's definitely been something for me, is just keep it positive. Like,
Yeah.
there's negatives on every single car. Like you can find some sort of negative, some sort of fault. But hey, like the vast majority of them, I wish I had these suckers 20 years ago. Like
Right.
the stuff back then, this stuff nowadays just eclipses so far. It's so much better than what it was 20 years ago that
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, and sometimes I think we even set unreal expectations for what the car should be nowadays.
Oh, totally.
And so, you know, there can't be any imperfection.
Right.
Everything made is going to have an imperfection. If I make it, you make it.
Yeah.
There's going to be some that's going to have, and they're not all going to be the exact same when they come out, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the brakes. But, you know, when we launch them off of things too, and people see that and they expect theirs to do it, not realizing how much time we spend fixing them or, you know, upgrading them or the money we put into them to do it.
Yeah.
Because they just see one little clip or whatever. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was trying, like, you look at yours and so many of those are modified.
Yeah.
Like crazy, you know, like they're not a stock truck. So
no, and I mean, let's be honest too, like because I've gotten a lot of feedback about that too, about like, well, how do you not break stuff all the time? And like, honestly, the easiest answer is just land on all four tires all the time. Like if you land it right without having it do barrel rolls and things like that, the vehicle's going to last a lot longer. And you know, in my opinion too, there's other little things that you can do. Like anytime my vehicle starts to crash, no matter what car it is, I immediately let go of any steering input and don't give it any throttle input whatsoever. Whereas like I see a lot of people that will jump their car, and as it's crashing, they're turning the wheel and they're holding it full throttle. And at the end of the day, like, like you're not gonna, most of the time you're not gonna save it. And by doing that, you really run the risk of breaking an axle, stripping a servo out, things like that. So anytime I'm start crashing, I basically just let go of the remote without actually physically dropping it.
Now I run I live by Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger guys. And so there's times when I run by their mono of just burn it to the ground. Like when something goes wrong, you just go, man. You just until it's destroyed. So I did that this weekend. I actually let up a little early, but only because the truck I was running is 80 pounds and I knew I'd have to carry it to the garage if it had any more damage to it.
Yeah.
So once there was enough broken pieces, I decided to stop it, and that way I could drive it.
Truck you have, right?
Yeah, the Raminator.
Raminator,
yeah. I did some damage to it, so I've got about an $80 bill of parts to get from them. So
that's fun.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Hopefully, you got a good story and hopefully some good footage.
Yeah. So, and I was having a blast when it was happening. So, and I knew going in, like, so some of it is, and that's the other thing people don't understand is like, oh, that truck's so cheap. So that's the other end of it is I own up to it. Like, you know, the piece was already bent going in. I knew that I had a bolt on my 4-link that I'd toasted going off my big plastic ramp the first time I took it off it.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyway, I don't want to keep you too long. There was two other things that I had here.
Yeah.
Favorite thing about the hobby?
I'd say the people. I've met a lot of like really good friends in this hobby, and from all different walks of life, all different age brackets. Like one of my best buddies, that's a crawling buddy that I go with pretty regularly, is 74. Like,
Wow.
and I never would have met him otherwise, but he's become a really good friend, you know?
So now you don't film every time you go out, do you?
No,
Yeah.
I gotta keep it fun. Honestly, if I was filming every single time, like that's been the big thing with me with this, is like not wanting it to get to a point where it sucks the fun out of it.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, like this is my passion. I'm totally bought in and all in on our RC cars, and I don't want to lose that. Like I don't want
Right.
to lose the fun aspect for me.
So what does your wife think about it?
She's on board.
Okay.
So on our very first date, I told her, I was like, hey, like I'm into this hobby that's like a little unusual. And like we joke about it now because she was like, you have no idea all the things that were running through my mind of the different things that you were going to say. And then I was like, yeah, I'm like really into 10th scale remote control cars, and I have a whole bunch of them, and I work on them all the time, and it basically consumes all my free time. And she's on board with it. She's a great woman. So yeah.
That's the thing. Everyone's like, you must have an awesome wife, like
Yeah,
a very understanding wife, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of time. It takes up space. I mean, you have a big 2 racks of RC sitting in a room there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not every guy gets that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My wife's super understanding. She's amazing. So it's been good. And
Okay.
I set the expectation from the beginning though, like this is not going anywhere. Like I need this in my life. So
yeah. Now the thing that I tell my wife too is, and I hope my kids get into it more, is that my dad and I didn't have a whole lot of stuff in common. Like once I got into college, so like he was always basketball coach. He did all this stuff with us, but it wasn't things that he could actively do with us as he got older. Like, so we didn't do golf. We didn't do anything that was like a sport that you could like continue. Hey, let's go golfing this weekend, or so we didn't have like an activity to do.
Yeah.
And so what I was hoping and I'm hoping is that something like this, they can start, and even like you, maybe they'll get out of it.
Yeah.
But you can get back into it, and it can be something you do with your dad, or you can do, with your kids later, their kids. And so I'm hoping that that's what happens. And that's what I'm trying to get. It's something that can be like a bonding kind of experience that throughout the ages moving forward, like don't stop with the RC. It's going to be something that we can have as hey, you want to come over and wrench?
Yeah,
totally. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, again, like my main thing with this, I really want to get new people into the hobby. That's what I'm all about. And like this hobby really needs, but talking to parents, because it's unusual. Like you don't see a lot of people out driving an RC car all the time. And anytime I see parents, especially dads, I'm like, dude, this is the best hobby when it comes to father-son time. Like you'll have a ton of laughs. And in my opinion, there's a ton of life skills that you can learn from these, from learning to work on them at a young age. Like I've taken apart all kinds of stuff on my own personal vehicles, and like not RC cars, but full-size trucks, cars, dune buggies, dirt bikes, the whole 9 yards. And I 100% learned those skills from working on these.
Right, because so much of it's built the same way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And you realize at the end of the day, too, you realize like, oh, this RC car is just a bunch of parts, nuts, and bolts. And that's exactly what your Ford truck is made of, Yep.
I have a whole different, like my dad didn't, again, going back to my dad, but he wasn't a car guy at all. Like he drove vans all the time. Just he'd buy a $500 beater in Michigan because they'd rust out so fast. And he just keep limping them along. And but he didn't do any work on them. Like we never changed his oil. Like we always took it places. So I have zero, all of everything that I've learned in the last 7 years about working on any of this stuff, how shocks work, any of it, no background in it.
Yeah.
So I started at like 34, oh, hey, let me start tinkering with this stuff. And now I'm like, I could probably pull this apart in my car, like if I had one, and maybe not some of the motor mechanics of it, but like the drivetrain, yeah.
Yeah, I remember actually a good friend of mine in high school had a 1994 Ford Ranger, which had the I-beam front suspension in it. And he wanted to get this lift kit that replaced the I-beams and the radius arms on it. And I was like, yeah, we can do that. Let's just go to my house, my parents' house. And so my dad came home that afternoon, and we were in like a standard tract home. And that Ranger was sitting in front of our house with the entire front suspension removed out of it. And my dad comes walking up and he's like, Doug, dude, I really hope you know what you're doing. And I was like, man, like at the end of the day, it's just nuts and bolts. Like, we're fine. We're good. And he drove that car for a long time after that, and it was fine. So
that's awesome.
Again, it all came back to RCs. Like that, working on these, figuring out how things are built and put together is what really gave me the confidence to work on a full-size car.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we won't keep you. I do want to say thank you to a few people in here, Gene Master 74, RC Voodoo, and Bars and Tone. They made donations in the super chat. That's very appreciated, guys. Definitely, as we've talked about, it's not a cheap hobby, and it's not cheap to keep this stuff going. All the technology that we use to make it all happen. Yeah. Speaking of the hobby and stuff, and the companies, and not all of them are big, and how they listen to us, there are a couple things, guys, RC conspiracy wise, that Losi, Arma, and Axial kind of were hinting at today in there. If you guys haven't seen that live chat, and especially one of them in particular, at about 34 minutes in, Todd mentioned that, I think it was 34 minutes. I had a little note. This isn't the computer now. I switched computers. I think it was 34 minutes in, maybe it was 24, but he mentioned that Losi was going to have a solid axle monster truck by the end of the year. So
wow,
that's really exciting news, because Losi is their performance line. And so if they bring out a monster truck like SMT10, it's going to be killer. So I'm super stoked about that. And then they also hinted, somebody asked if they were going to do a no prep, and the only answer they said is yes. So they're working on a no prep drag car as well. I don't know what company, but they've got some stuff coming. They're listening, and they say that they're going to have Losi and Axial going to have some stuff coming this year.
That's awesome.
In Arma 2. They tried to pretend like stuff wasn't coming, but he said that there was. Not as big as last year, but they're still going to have some stuff to wow us. So I'm excited that it's a great time to be in the hobby.
That's a fact.
And you've got an awesome lineup of cars and videos of those cars. So thank you for doing that, for promoting the hobby.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for coming on here and chatting. If you guys have got 2-minute countdown, if you have any quick questions, hit them up right now. We'll get those questions. We'll watch that, and then we'll sign off here. It is midnight.
Oh yeah, huh?
Here, which is fine by me. I was streaming till almost 2 or 3 last night while I was editing, but it's just kind of a last minute thing, and it didn't lock up like the thing did tonight. I don't get it.
Yeah, but this second time around, it worked well all the way through.
Yeah, I don't know the difference. It's still running stuff off of multiple monitors, and maybe my computer just needs an update. I don't know. Or maybe I updated it and I shouldn't have. That's usually the case. This one hasn't been used in a while. Yeah.
I have a friend that has an iPhone 4 still in 2020 right now that he's never updated. Nothing. And it still works like the day he got it.
Yep. It's all the updates that slow them down, because the faster stuff can handle it. That said, mine is the brand new previous to the 16-inch, the 15-inch Pro. Like, I bought it, and then 2 weeks later, they announced the newest one.
That's
I'm like,
fun.
seriously? And, but yeah, it should be able to handle it. So I don't know why it's locked up twice. Maybe I blame Chrome, but, all right, guys, no extra questions. Thank you, Doug, for coming on, for sharing your knowledge. and your trucks and your time.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. Next week, 9:30, another RC Conspiracies, and we'll see you then.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Thanks everyone for joining in.